Hi, Ghosties. I'm Macy.
And I'm Natalie.
And happy Thursday.
Woo!
And if you aren't new around here, then you know Thursdays are our tea party days where we tell your spooky stories.
Every day's a tea party.
Today is no different, as we have stories from our listeners ranging from mimics to the Hat Man to possibly aliens, maybe?
Oh, good. I love an alien story.
You can be the judge. So let's just pour the tea and get started. Our tea today is Tiesta tea, Blueberry Wild Child.
It smells delicious. And shout out to
Brandy.
Let's go.
It remains great.
It tastes like the blueberry muffins that come in a bag that you mix with milk.
Yeah.
What is that brand?
Martha or something?
Something. Oh, I love those muffins.
They are good. Also, for those of you asking, we are still firmly in the middle of October of 2024
Shut up.
of our stories. So I'll let everyone know when we move on to November
I'm tired
2024.
of this, Grandpa. What are we doing? Did we legitimately get like 50,000 emails?
Oh, we were getting like tons a day. Every morning I would open the email and be like, boop, 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 boop. Yeah. This is great. I don't know why you look so downtrodden. It is
stressed.
Exciting.
I'm stressed because
You just want to get to them?
Because people have been like, oh, y'all are going to love mine. I sent it in February.
It's like,
Like,
we'll see you in a couple years.
Yes, and it's like, I hope these people are still watching by the time we read their story.
I mean, we do jump around. So there are
Yeah.
going to be themed listener stories, and so we will probably get to it. All right. Our first story comes from C. Firstly, I've been enjoying your videos a lot. They're so entertaining. They fill the silence while I'm painting or cooking, and I find Natalie so adorable for some reason. I often feel the episode end too soon, and that I could still listen to you girls talk for literally 5 hours. I also find you adorable.
Oh, I don't like that you said it.
It's cute. Your reactions are cute.
I was about to say thanks to C, but
Okay.
now I feel weird.
Very rude. Anyway.
How am I rude?
You said ew. I don't like what you said.
We
That's
are
rude. I was
not
complimenting you.
We are not the type of family that is like, I love you.
I didn't say I love you.
I know, but
I
just
said you're cute. Your reactions are cute.
being affectionate in any way makes me uncomfy.
Anyway, for background, I barely have paranormal experiences in my life, and stuff never really happens. There are just a few unexplainable occurrences that I can count with one hand, honestly. I do believe there is a realm beyond ours, but for most strange occurrences, I try to take a logical approach. Plus, I think our minds are extremely powerful, and some things are simply a coincidence. I know you two don't agree with that.
I don't know. I don't quite believe in coincidences, but
No.
I could be convinced. I can be convinced of anything.
Yeah. Well, okay. I don't believe in a coincidence. I believe there's some kind of explanation somewhere, somehow. Be it a mental thing or spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I have two stories. They're not the scariest thing in the world, but it does make me think sometimes. One about ghosts, the other kind of alien-y. I don't know what to make of it, so let me know what you think. Story number 1. The first one is short. One day, my little brother got back from school and wanted to show me this cool thing he and his friends discovered. He came back and handed me a paper with the Charlie Charlie game drawn on it. I kind of got a little nervous because although I think these internet games are a little silly, I'm not taking chances. So I asked him in kind of an annoyed tone, "Why do you have that?" And I snatched it from him. He immediately freaked out, but as I took it, I started crushing it to throw it away. And the moment I crumbled it, not even a second after, not even one moment later, but exactly when I crushed the paper under my hand, there was a loud thud or bang from the room next to us, and we both snapped our necks in the direction of the noise.
Did you ever do that?
I did not, but I know that I knew you would know what that is because that was
Did
like,
you not?
No,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
like the time and the age that you were was like perfectly appropriate for
Like
Charlie Charlie.
15? 16?
Nuh-uh.
When was the Charlie Charlie thing?
Like 2014, 2013, I think. 2015. Exploded in popularity in May 2015 after spreading virally on social media platforms like Twitter and Vine. Its origins can be traced back to 2014 YouTube video from Mexico called Jugando Charlie Charlie.
So yes, I was 15. So yes, I did know. And my friends did do it. I think I might have done it once at school, but I wasn't actively in it. I was just watching.
I just knew a lot of like 7th to like 9th, 10th graders were like big on this. I saw a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff with
vines.
Yeah. For you to visualize this better, we were standing in the hallway in between the doorway to my brother's room and the doorway to the master bedroom. The noise was from the masters. So we both turned our heads quickly in the direction of the doorway. Don't worry, no jump scare. There wasn't a shadowy figure peeking at us or anything. But I knew for a fact no one was in that room because I was just there. I saw my little brother's petrified facial expression that pretty much said, "You heard that too, right?" But I started convincing him that E, our oldest brother, was there and he probably made a noise because I can tell he was about to cry. Me too, honestly. I made him go back to his room and check the master bedroom, and of course, there was no one. I was seeing if anything was moved because the sound was as though a vase was knocked over or something, like something heavy fell, but there wasn't anything. Because it was a long time ago, the sound is a little hazy in my memory. I started convincing myself that it could be a noise from outside, that maybe it was a knock at a window from an animal bumping on it, or a rock being thrown at the window. But we live on the 16th floor.
No.
And it's deadly hot where I live. We barely see birds outside, not even insects. Plus, it wasn't a knock or small noise. It was loud. I don't know what that was about because literally nothing happened after, I think. Kind of a boring ghost story, not gonna lie. I love that.
I think it's boring.
Ending. They're like, all they did was knock.
No, okay. I'm scared because this person said they don't believe in, or they believe in coincidences and everything. That to me could be a coincidence, but what are the odds, dude?
Come on.
What are, like,
but they never even found anything.
yeah.
They heard something falling and nothing was knocked over.
What? I don't even remember what the Charlie thing was. Like,
it was like yes, no, and you had like a pencil or whatever.
But what? Who is this person we think we're talking to? Is it Ouija board-esque and you're just talking to whoever?
I think it was like the spirit of Charlie or some. I don't remember exactly. It was so long ago, but yeah. Story number 2. For the second experience, I don't know what to label as because it's really strange. This was a long time ago. I'd say I was maybe 12. I was sleeping in my bed, tossing and turning, waiting to fall asleep. Every single person in the house was probably having their 15th dream at this point, but I was still awake. So it was pretty late. It's not that unusual for me, so I wasn't unsettled or anything. I don't know how late it was, but it was pitch black. I was facing the wall, the doorway of my room behind me, which faces the hallway. For context, also, we all sleep with doors open. I don't know how people sleep with the doors closed. I swear it's suffocating. My room also has no windows. It's a room pretty much in the inner corner of the apartment, if that makes sense. Anyway, I think it all started by me having my eyes closed and slowly seeing a really bright light appear through my eyelids. So I opened my eyes and saw my entire room lit up with this white-blue light. I was thinking, oh, maybe one of my brothers got up to use the bathroom and they turned on the hallway light. But all of our light bulbs at the time gave off more of an orangish tint. My brothers also have a bathroom accessible in their room. They don't need to walk through the hallway. Plus, this light was so incredibly bright, my whole room was lit up. So I was a bit scared, not gonna lie, but I could convince myself maybe it's just a hallway light. Until I heard a voice. It was calling out my name. But not just my name, it was using my nickname that only my family members used, and I legit got goosebumps on my entire body. I was frozen, and my eyes were open really wide. Every time it said my name, the light would get brighter and then dull a bit. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like the light itself was breathing or talking. But I was convincing myself that maybe my little brother was scared and wanted to come sleep in my bed or something. He literally never did that in his life, especially because he and our oldest brother share a room, but denial is a powerful thing. I looked over my shoulders very, very slowly to catch a few glances, but all I saw is a blue light extending even along the hallway. I couldn't tell exactly where it was coming from, but I think I concluded in the moment it was from my brother's room. That's why I was convincing myself that it was my brother calling me, even though that makes no sense, especially because of what I'm about to tell you. The other eerie thing is that the voice was really unrecognizable and strange, like otherworldly. I couldn't tell if the voice was a man or a woman, nor if it was young or old. It was just a voice, if that makes any sense. As if the air itself talked. I genuinely don't know how to explain it, and it just kept calling out my nickname for however long. I just froze, and closed my eyes, not trying to give away that I was awake. I don't know when it stopped, but it eventually did. I'd say it lasted 5 minutes or less. It couldn't have been that long, but it felt like hours. I really don't remember how much time passed. I just closed my eyes really hard and prayed. I don't think it was a hallucination. I wasn't drowsy or in between being awake and dreaming. I was wide awake. And if I wasn't awake then, this incident literally slapped me awake. Because I slept hours later when the sun came up. Or I might not have slept at all. I don't know. For this story also, there is no follow-up. I swear these entities just be playing, because now I have to think about this for the rest of my life with no closure. My brothers are not the type to prank, and when I asked them if they woke up in the middle of the night last night, they said no. Please let me know what you think this could be. I've heard countless paranormal stories and never heard something like that. I know some people might see light and it can be an angel or a dead loved one, but for those stories, they always say they feel at peace. The closest thing I heard is people talking about alien visits or extraterrestrials. But that also seems far off because why wouldn't it call out my brothers then? They have a big window in their room with their beds right under it / near it. I'd say they're pretty good candidates to be beamed up. I don't know. It's just confusing. That's all. Sorry if it was a little long. Like I said, I rarely have paranormal experiences, just a few unexplainable isolated incidents. There are a few other things like that feeling I woke up in a different version of my world, or a weird reoccurring nightmare, but this email is already too long, both with unsatisfying conclusions as well. I swear I wish it was like one of those stories where you see a woman in your room as a baby and grow up to realize it was your great-great-aunt's cousin's daughter's grandmother's friend that is looking after you or something. But alas, I'm left with these weird incidents that over time, I just pretend were hallucinations. But I digress. Thanks for reading. Sorry for the unsatisfying endings. Love your channel and podcast. It makes me feel like I'm having a conversation with you girls. You both are so entertaining and lovely. Love, C.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You're too kind. But aliens.
Okay.
It's always aliens to me.
Yeah.
Aliens.
I don't know though. Like that's just weird. It doesn't make sense because they didn't even have a window in their room. Like
yeah.
You'd think if the aliens were, unless they had like an inside man, like somehow watching from inside the apartment.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd go with the first thing they see through the window. Unless it's not about accessibility and it's whatever C had that their brothers didn't. I don't know. Personality wise.
I don't know. I'm just inclined to believe aliens just because that's my answer anytime I don't know. I'm always like, it's aliens. But throughout the story, whenever they said it was like almost breathing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what if it's some kind of like, I don't know, like
a being?
Yeah, I was thinking just like paranormal, like angel-esque type thing, and or like, you know, in a visitation dream, how they give off light. That's kind of what I was
thinking at first. But they said
the voice.
Oh, well, also that. But they also said they didn't feel like a comfort or peace.
Yeah.
It was like they were scared. Or at the very least freaked out.
I don't
aliens.
know. I have this something similar, but not nearly as scary. And I don't know if it was a dream, but I remember it so vividly. And I remember being so scared. Because, you know, I used to sleep in the living room.
Yeah.
All the time. Watching my infomercials.
Mm.
Up all nights, all hours of the night. I was laying in the living room and I saw like a green light that just overtook the whole thing. I've told you this before and you look shocked.
Okay.
Roll the tapes. I've told you this before.
On the pod?
Yes. Yes. I don't know if we actually kept it in, but I've told you.
Okay.
And it scares me.
This is like the first time I'm hearing it. Continue.
But yeah, I saw the green and then I looked out and I saw like just green light and then I was scared. So I just closed my eyes and pretended that I didn't see it. And so that's kind of what I was
imagining. Came from behind you, like the windows?
Mm-hmm. The windows that I was laying
Sleeping by?
Yes, because the couch was up against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it filled the whole room, you said?
Uh-huh. And I was just like, you know.
With the TV on.
Yes.
It just like completely overtook the light of the TV. It just like filled the room with green.
Yes. And I looked out and I saw the green outside. So I said.
Okay.
Yes. And I said, it is too late. I'm calling it a night.
Did you like look through the blinds or you just looked and saw that it was coming through the blinds?
The blinds were like up. Like not like open, but like pulled up. Because I guess the windows had been open at one point that day and just closed it. And so I saw.
Oh, through the bottom?
Yeah. I don't know.
Did it seem like it was coming from one point?
Yes.
Okay. very
Dude, I
weird.
told you this
I
because
don't
when
know.
we talked about aliens, I told you like me and Kayla had that one
I remember
incident,
that story.
but then that one, it feels so real, but I feel like I've kind of convinced myself that it was a dream because it was
Yeah.
like, no, like what?
That is strange.
Yeah, I
and
felt
that's
scared.
very similar to C, except
Yeah.
it wasn't. I mean, unless you fell asleep before it could call your name.
I would not be here to tell the story today. I think my heart
Simply have died.
probably would have just popped out of like one of my eyes or something. Like it would have been out of my body.
All right.
Oh, I just got,
Chill.
yeah, that
Okay.
wouldn't have happened.
That's so weird. I don't recall that story at all. Like, not even a little bit.
That's crazy. Roll
I'm
the
sorry.
tapes. I need to find this. It's probably like episode 4.
Yeah, well, if you can find it, show
We're
me.
on like 170.
And I probably look the same way. Just like, no
Shocked.
way.
Yeah.
Thanks, C. And we'll move on to our next one. It's Kaylee. Hey, everyone. 3 months ago, I had a horrible dream, and I still am trying to comprehend what it was. I had a dream that the devil, or something, was trying to make me sell or take my soul. I knew it was morally wrong, and I tried to stop myself. The dream started off as a normal, silly dream, but then a voice spoke loud and firm to me, saying things like, "You're mine. You won't escape." I saw incomprehensible things and what I understood as some sort of hell. For some context, I have many, many experiences with the paranormal. I can start off with what I believe started everything. When my dad was younger, he had dealt with hauntings as well. I believe whatever followed him is now on to me, as he has no encounters anymore. On the land he lived on, which is where we live now, it's my grandpa's land, he had heard voices and recalls many scary things happening. When he and my mom met, I was around 3 years old, and basically we lived in this 2-story, 2-bedroom townhouse. The way the house was, the entrance was a small living room, a small hallway to the small kitchen and dining room, and right before that hallway, a spiral staircase to the bedrooms on the 2nd floor. There was one short hallway connecting the 2 rooms, and the bathroom was also connected. I tell you this because it'll make sense during the story. Something I'd like to point out is when I was little, this dark figure had sort of stuck in my mind. It's a tall, all-black thing with pure white eyes. I say pure as it always looks like a light of some sort. It's been in my dreams in the background, or even in my vision. I had vivid dreams of watching myself live through my day, like in third person. When I was younger, my mom recalls me talking to the people in the wall. The most remembered one was the man in the wall. When I would sing, I would say, "Ow, stop." And when she'd check on me, I'd tell her the man doesn't like me singing. Keep in mind, we lived right by the old folks' home.
Oh no. Oh no.
I almost find that funny because it's
I
like
don't.
this old man's like, "Will you be quiet?" Just like trying to rest.
Go back to your home, Grandpa. Get out of mine. What do you mean? It's not
Yeah,
funny.
I know. I agree.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
to hurt them though, no.
no.
Another memory was when it was late at night and I came downstairs. I told my dad, "Your mom wants to see you upstairs." It was pitch black and only we were home. If my child said that, I would grab them and we would be leaving for a midnight drive.
I imagine.
That is so scary.
I'm imagining this little child walking up and like in their sweet little body and they're going, "Your mom wants to see you upstairs." Like, I'm imagining it very deep. Very deep and serious. And then it just prances off like la 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 la.
Oh my gosh, I almost spit out my drink.
That's just what
That made me think of the Fairly Odd Parents. It's like, I never stole from my mom's purse.
Oh wait, no. I never
Stole
from my mom's purse.
Yeah, that.
That's a good one. A classic.
Anyway, your mom wants to see you upstairs. Another horrible experience was one night our bathrooms were connected. My mom got this feeling that she needed to open her eyes. She looked into the bathroom and saw a man's leg, like he had just walked into my room. She shot up and woke up my dad and then went to grab me. He checked the entire house and nobody was there. He checked the locks, the windows, and on the dog, which was totally freaked out. Nothing was broken into or stolen, so this couldn't have been an intruder. We had a lot happen in that house. It had gotten so bad, my grandpa and others from the church came in and blessed the home. In the new house, there have been even more. I personally don't like talking about it because it sort of brings it into reality for me. It makes it seem like I'm actually acknowledging it. But basically, I had this light up charger that would change into different colors like a rainbow. It lit up my room at night just enough to see. Well, one night, I had been scrolling on my phone. I looked up because I had a feeling and saw that thing again. I froze, not knowing what to do. I knew it wasn't sleep paralysis because I had just been awake and scrolling. I watched it for a little, then just closed my eyes really tight and prayed. Eventually in the morning, it left.
I don't like it, but I'm still caught up on like they just saw the leg. I don't know why that's funny to me.
I'm imagining it's like they saw the leg
As
finish
it's
walking into the room. Yeah.
I'm just imagining a leg just in the house. I'm feeling real weird. I'm sorry.
This is a weird day. This is a weird day.
But yes, that is very scary.
I asked my siblings if they were in my room, and they weren't. In fact, they weren't even awake at that time. I'm a bit skeptical myself. Even when all this has happened, I didn't really believe that it did. I usually hear voices, or occasionally my bed kind of shakes. One day, I was on FaceTime with a friend, and I drifted off to sleep with the camera facing me. My legs were sort of off of the bed, and I felt someone yank me off. I didn't fall completely off, but I did get yanked enough to wake me up. I sat up straight and asked who was in my room. Nobody responded. So I asked my friend if they heard or saw anything, and they didn't. So I asked my family if they had been in my room, and they hadn't. My room door was shut as well. I tried to ignore this and move on, but it has happened a lot. Just like my bed shaking, this is a sort of normal thing for me. Another time, although this was my fault, was the time I taunted SWs and Windy Boys. Earlier that day, I claimed they weren't real and were a joke and called their name many, many, many times. It was funny until late at night. I was playing Sims 4, music blasting in my headphones. I was relaxed until I heard a voice. At first, I thought it was my sister, as she sleep talks sometimes. I soon realized the voice was not my sister's. I practically threw off my headphones and listened. The voices stopped, but on my window I heard tap, tap, tap. I froze, pausing my music. I brushed it off, then again. Tap, tap, tap. I practically ran to my bed, by the window of course. I closed my eyes and prayed again. I prayed and of course did not look out the window. I'm not an idiot. I prayed, then kept hearing tap, tap, tap. I got so scared I played gospel music. I never do this either. I felt a cold hand or breeze brush up my leg, then up and up. I could not believe this was real, and the next day told those friends about it, and one had a similar thing happen that night.
Absolutely not.
And even if it wasn't like an SW or a Windy Boy or whatever,
regardless,
you're taunting something and something didn't like it and it came to you.
I don't like it at all. But I do think it's funny when like there's that joke that everyone's religious when there's a little turbulence on the plane.
Yeah.
And so it's like everyone's religious when something paranormal's popping off. It's like, I'm just gonna start praying. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
This next part happened more recently. Today, I was running on my elliptical, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw an eye looking up at me for a split second. I jumped off and ran out of my room. I usually see things out of the corner of my eye so much, but never this vivid. Just to suddenly have
just
like
an
eye come up right beside you.
Oh, that made me sick. I don't like that you looked at me like that.
That's what I was envisioning.
Ooh, I was just envisioning an eyeball.
Oh, just a floating eyeball?
Yes.
You are in a weird mood.
Yeah, today was a weird day.
I try not to acknowledge it, but I suppose that I am now that I'm trying to share my story. I also want to know if it really is a haunting or if I'm just delusional. I feel like it's more than just illusions, but I would need a second opinion just in case. I wouldn't want to waste priest's time or anybody really for some spooky things that have happened that weren't really that serious here. Anyway, sorry for the long story. It's been nice sharing. I want to know if this sounded like a haunting or like something else. Side note, my cross necklace broke off as I wrote this email. Maybe it's because my siblings are just messing with me, but I'm not sure. That wouldn't make sense for the past hauntings where they weren't even born yet, but thanks for reading. I'll take any advice you can give or try to identify what it is. Love you ladies. Thanks for reading.
Call the Vatican.
Why did
just
your
straight
cross
to the
fall
top?
off?
What?
Oh,
I was gonna
that's funny.
say, I was very much like, oh, better safe than sorry. You could reach out to a church or something if that's what you prefer to do,
Yeah.
or priest or healer, whatever person you can. But then your cross necklace broke off. That feels
While they're telling the story
demonic.
too.
And I'm sorry that you had to tell us, or that you chose to tell us, and I'm sorry that we're telling it now, and I'm sorry that you're going to hear it and think about it again.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't bring anything up as you listen to it, but it does feel scary. And I don't know if all of it is connected because it sounds like a lot of very different things, but they started the email off with, like, the devil tried to steal my soul in a dream.
I forgot about that.
And they see this shadow figure with, like, bright white eyes standing in the room watching them. They have their cross necklace broke, like, things touching them, pulling them off of their bed. Like, it all feels very intense.
Demonic?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
So way down in the comments, too, if you know anything and, like, how they can help themselves or, I don't know. I think just, like,
Call
you
the
may
Vatican.
feel, yes, if you feel the need to go that far. But if you might feel crazy in the moment, but just, like, saying aloud, like, no, like, you're
Not open to it.
I'm not open to it. You are not welcome here. You're not allowed here. Like,
Yeah.
beings of love and light only, that kind of thing, you know? Just
And
whatever is on your heart.
I feel like even if it's like nothing and you're just saying that into the void, I feel like just speaking things out can make you just feel better instantly.
Yeah,
because
that too.
you can calm yourself
But
that
I think
way.
our words have power.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, our next story comes from Arshia. Hi, Ghosties. I'm Arshia, a new listener, and love the stories you guys talk about. So I thought I would share my sister's. Also, they put the, like, phonetic spelling of their name. So
Love.
thank you so much. My sister had an encounter with something. I'm praying that it was our mom. This was a couple years back at our old house. We lived in an apartment complex with 2 floors. There was 1 room downstairs and 2 rooms upstairs. My older sister would sometimes sleep downstairs, and sometimes we would both sleep downstairs. However, on this particular night, she had the biggest breakdown ever to this day, as she'd had a fight with our parents. So she decided to sleep alone. I don't know why, but I feel like that might be relevant. There was a lot of negative energy in our house that night. Everyone was so upset. My mom sometimes sits on the sofa in the downstairs room. It was more of a TV room than a personal room, scrolling through her phone. That's probably who my sister thought it was. When she woke up, all of a sudden in the middle of the night, she saw someone sitting on the ground in front of the sofa. The layout of the room was the sofa being on the left side of the door against the wall, and the bed being against the wall on the opposite side, so that when we sleep, our legs are facing the door and sofa. What my sister described having seen was the silhouette of a woman with long hair. However, because it was dark, she wasn't able to see very clearly. My sister then called out to the figure. She said, "Mom?" 'Cause who else would it be? It wasn't completely uncommon for my mom to be sitting in our room at night. However, she would be sitting on the sofa, not on the floor. And she definitely would not be staring at the bed in front of her without her phone on, in complete darkness. My mom and I, we are not that brave. After my sister calls out to the figure, there is silence. The figure does not respond. It was quiet for a beat before my sister decided something was wrong and pulled the covers up over her head to hide. She probably assumed that our mom was simply not responding to her call, as moms often do, or maybe she was lost in thought. Either way, it was very odd. What happened next was straight out of a horror movie. Soon after she was waiting with her heart pounding under the sheets, she heard the figure approaching her bed. It was breathing heavily and started walking back and forth along her bed while breathing as if it was something possessed. Eventually, the thing started tapping on the bed while continuing to make sounds, and my sister was practically paralyzed at this point. The heavy breathing, the walking back and forth, and the tapping on the bed left my sister terrified for her life. Eventually, the figure was gone, and my sister stayed in place, her eyes wide open, paralyzed, until her alarm rang for 4. I don't know why she had an alarm on for then. She found the strength in herself to get up and turn the alarm off. Then, after tiptoeing and glancing around to look for it, she ran up the stairs into our parents' bedroom. At this point, I was awake as well and came to their room to hear her story. We all slept together that night. My parents brushed her off, telling her she was probably hallucinating and to forget about it. I don't think she was hallucinating though, as this has never happened before, nor has it ever happened years after the event. Oddly enough, a month after the incident, my mom tells us that she forgot that it was actually her sitting there that day. I don't know if she was simply saying that because she could tell how shaken my sister was by the event, or if she actually forgot. I'm just hoping that the figure was really her, because that's the only rational explanation. There was no sign of a break-in or any other potential explanation for it.
Well, it wasn't your mom.
I have a feeling your mom is
Your mom is being
Not.
very
the one there.
No, she's being very nice to y'all, trying not to scare you, but
Breathing heavily, tapping along the bed as they walked back and forth.
I didn't even need to hear all that to be scared. Just sitting there in the dark.
Yeah. I don't know, the
What are you
tapping,
doing?
like it's contemplating, like,
Oh!
like
Like
reaching
what it's gonna
further.
do?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
no. Oh, no.
Okay. Here's where my involvement comes in. I have a history of sleep talking and apparently sleepwalking. I later came to know that a few weeks before the incident occurred, I had done something very creepy. Me and my sister were sleeping downstairs in that room together one night when I suddenly got up, standing on top of the bed, and pointed towards the area near the door around the sofa. My sister watched quietly as I sat back down and went to sleep without a word while she was wide-eyed and very much awake. Honestly, I thought she was joking at first because while I do move around in my sleep by twisting around in bed, I don't think I've ever actually gotten up to walk or stand, and definitely not to point at something. As far as I knew, I was only a sleep talker. Honestly, I'm happy I was the one pointing and did not have to witness that because I would have been on my way to Jesus if I'd seen my sister do that. And I'm the younger one, so that must have been creepy as hell. If you would have ever done that to me, I would have like roundhouse kicked you off the bed and out of my room.
Hey, I'm glad you went straight to violence because I was going to say,
that
you
one,
got to hit him.
yeah.
You're going to have to like take him out at the knees or something.
I'm not usually one for violence, but that I think.
am. I would just like to know what this person was seeing in their sleep or what they were reacting to.
Oh,
or
yeah.
if it just happened to be like, I don't know, they're just doing weird stuff. Did they see something and they're like right there?
But pointing to the same area where the long-haired mom was sitting in front of the sofa.
Oh, God.
That's creepy. That's
You got to
sickening.
get out of there.
I don't know what went on in that room, but what I do know is that my sister has no reason to lie. My sister also has some weird nightmares. She has more than I've ever had. One dream of hers she told me about had me shivering. In her dream, a little girl with big black eyes and black hair was smiling at her in the creepiest way. That was the dream, and she woke up shortly after the girl smiled at her for a couple of seconds. My sister told me that even in the dream, she felt unsettled and knew there was something very sinister about the girl. I brushed it off, telling her that it was just a weird dream because I did not want it to seem like I was interested in them. I didn't want the abyss to stare back at me. I was very scared by her story too, as all I could picture was the movie Silent Hill, where I think there's a scene in which a girl just looks into the screen at some point and smiles. Correct me if I'm wrong. I wish I could say this was fake, but nope. Nothing's been wrong ever since, and we're in a new house now, which has been treating us nicely. Though I have been stocking up on statues of Hindu gods, which has been working so far. Sorry for the long email and the mini short stories. I really enjoy your podcast episodes on my way back from uni. Lots of love.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear you're out of that house because I was
Yeah.
going to ask. So all is well.
Problem solved.
Yep. Yep.
I
Problem
wonder
solved.
if the girl smiling in the dream is related in any way to the girl pacing.
I don't know, but I was going to say not problem solved, problem just avoided. We just ran away from it. And you know what? I support that.
Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to run away.
Run away from your problem.
Yeah.
I do it often.
Our next story comes from Millie. Hey guys, I'm sorry that this email is going to be long, but my name is Millie and I love watching y'all all the time and love getting scared with you guys. I wanted to share mine and my family's experience in my haunted house. I lived in the same house with my aunt, uncle, other uncle, grandparents, my brother, and my 2 cousins. While growing up, my uncle would hear footsteps running up and down the stairs, and when he would look up the stairs, he would feel someone or something looking back at him, but there was nothing there. Another incident that all of the adults experienced together was when they were eating in the kitchen. While they ate, they would talk about their experiences when they were alone. But whenever they did, they would hear something crying, like baby cries coming from the nursery room where my cousin and I would sleep. Whenever they would check on me and my cousin, we would be knocked out asleep, and they would jokingly say, "The little girl is here." Or when our toys would play by themselves, they would say, "The little girl is playing." And us being young, we would be so scared we wouldn't even stay in a room alone. My experience happened when I was little and was sleeping by myself. I would wake up in the middle of the night paralyzed in fear, not being able to move or talk or scream. The only thing that would work were my fingertips, so I would scratch on the wall so my mom would come and save me. And she would, but after a while, she started to not hear me.
Horrifying strategy, by the way.
To scratch on the
Just
wall?
scratch on the wall.
I
I
would-
don't like it.
I mean, it's the only thing you could do.
I guess. but that's really scary.
That is really scary. I would ask her, why didn't you come? I was stuck again with the black thing in the closet and on the wall. Obviously, she would call me crazy, so I told her to sleep with me. If your child told you that, well, if my child told you that, why'd you leave me alone with the black thing in the closet on the wall and on the wall?
There would never be another light turned off in my house ever again.
No room for shadows.
Nope. Everything would be fluorescent stadium light.
Oh my gosh.
Just the whole house.
After 3 years of going back and forth with the knocking and feet getting pulled or getting a heavy feeling, my aunt and uncle, my other uncle, and 2 cousins moved out, and me and my parents and older brother and grandparents stayed. Worst mistake ever. A little while after they left, everything calmed down a bit until I had to move back to my old room, and everything started getting scary again. When my 6-year-old self couldn't take sleeping in there anymore, I moved into my parents' bedroom, which was beside my old haunted room, and my brother moved into that room. While I slept in my parents' room, it felt even more heavy. Every night, I would wake up with scratches and bruises on my body. I got slammed to the floor when I tried to go to the bathroom at night. After a while, my parents moved me into my grandparents' room for a while, which it was never heavy, and I never experienced anything paranormal there. Another thing we all experienced were scratching from the outside of the house, and whistling and laughter. Many times, we would think that we saw one of us walking into a room, but when we checked, there would be no one there. One time, me and my mom were sitting in her room, and we swear we saw my brother walk into my old room. And when I got up to check, no one was there. And my mom told me, it's the little girl wanting you to go with her. Like, hello, are you okay? But anyways, the recent experience was when my older brother was sleeping upstairs, and he woke up in the middle of the night. He couldn't move, and when he screamed, nothing would come out, and he felt this heavy, evil thing above him. He saw a shadow for a split second, and it was of a little girl in the far back of his room. And after he could move, he ran downstairs and went to my parents' room, and he still sleeps up there. It really is a little girl?
I don't know.
Are you scared?
Yeah, I don't like that the parents are like, oh, it's the little girl.
Wanting you to follow her?
No, they seem far too comfortable with knowing that there's just this thing living through the... Oh.
Move
No.
on?
No.
Yeah, that one's really creepy.
I'm getting real freaked out, actually.
Well, it doesn't get much better.
Great, thanks.
Our next story comes from Delaney. Hello, I discovered your channel a couple of weeks ago and have been binge watching ever since. This is the only paranormal or ghost-like thing that has ever happened to me. In Traverse City, Michigan, there is a restaurant called Jolly Pumpkin. Originally, the house belonged to a woman named Genevieve who lived with her husband. Her husband became ill and needed a nurse to take care of him. One night, Genevieve discovered that he was having an affair with his nurse, and she hung herself in the elevator shaft. I have been to the restaurant many times in my life, even just a month ago. About 6 years ago, my family decided to go eat there since we were visiting some friends. There is a bathroom in the main restaurant and a bathroom upstairs near the elevator. I had to use the restroom, so I went upstairs since everyone else was already there looking at the shaft. Like 3-ish minutes go by, and then I just see a black shadow move past the crack of the stall door. Keep in mind, there are only 2 stalls and a sink. It's tiny. I was terrified and frozen in fear. No one else was in the bathroom because I would have heard the door and both stalls were open when I went in. I don't know if my mind was playing tricks on me, but I believe it must have been Genevieve. Anyways, love you guys so much. Delaney.
Okay, see, I feel a lot better, and this might be weird, but I feel a lot better when there's some kind of haunting or something going on, and we know, oh, this is so-and-so.
It's just Genevieve.
They used to be here.
See, my only thought is, which makes it a little scary for me, is what if that's the story they've been telling, but either it's not Genevieve or something else has been conjured up by them, like talking about it and playing into it so much.
Oh, no. I don't like that, and I really... if I never talked about another bathroom haunting again, it would not be like soon enough. Like I don't need it to happen anymore.
Yeah.
Since Austin, when we went to Austin, this was what, a year ago now?
Yeah.
Over a year ago. And that guy told us the story of the woman.
The old woman.
Underneath the stall.
Yeah, that one got me. I think about that sometimes when I'm in the public restroom.
I think about it every time. Every single time I'm looking at that door and I'm like, a lady's about to slide her head under here.
Oh, no.
My
fingers just started tingling.
I get scared every single time. Every time. And I have not stopped thinking about it since.
Well, I'm glad Genevieve didn't come underneath the stall and just walk
Oh,
by.
my God.
That is very spooky. And I agree with you though. I do like when a haunting has a story to go with it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing about the history of the hauntings, because you can kind of
makes it feel safer.
put a face to
Yeah.
the activity.
Yeah. But then when it's just like, we don't know, some type of demonic presence, it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our next story comes from Brittany. Hello, beautiful girls. My name is Brittany, and I stumbled across your YouTube page a few weeks ago, and I just adore you two. You've become part of my daily routine, and I now can't cook without watching you. Now to some of my personal spooky experiences. I guess my first experience would be when I was 11. My nanny, Southern for grandma, was sent home to our house on hospice care as she was reaching her final days after a long fight with emphysema. I was so excited to finally have her home because she had been in the hospital for around 2 weeks, and I didn't know what was to come at such a young age. Fast forward to about 4 days later when she took her final breaths as I held her hand because everyone around me was saying, "Talk to her and tell her you love her. She can still hear you." After she had passed and they came to get her body, I wondered all day if she could actually hear me telling her that I loved her. As we all sat in the living room with extended family members and my papa going through photo albums, my little cousin was playing with his mom's phone and took a picture of my mom and I. We were sitting on the couch against a wall with a mirror above us, and the couch was in the same spot that my nanny's medical bed was in. Remember this because it's important. It was around midnight or later when we finally got to go to bed that night, and I was so exhausted. I slept with my mom and fell asleep pretty quickly. Then I woke up in the middle of the night as I heard someone say my name. I looked over into the doorway of the bedroom, and there stood my nanny looking at me. She waved and then just walked away. I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
I didn't get scared. If anything, I felt peace, like she was telling me she heard me as she was passing away. The following day, my great aunt came back to our house to help write my nanny's obituary. But before they got into everything, she said, "I need to show you this picture that Noah, my little cousin, took of you all last night." As I looked at this picture of my mom and I, right in between us, under the mirror, was my nanny's face. She never left that home either, as we experienced her slamming the toilet seat down after someone would leave it up, faucets turning on, and lights being turned off.
I wish I could see the picture.
I know.
Oh my gosh. I actually like that story.
That one's a really sweet one.
I think it's a good one. I'm cool with it.
It's beautiful. I love a story when the family members are involved and coming to say goodbye or hello even, just, being there for them.
It's always very comforting.
Another story. When I was about 18 years old, my cousin and I would play the Ouija board. It started with just doing it outside our home, and a few times we talked to my cousin's daughter who had passed away. She told me when I would have my first kid and the gender, and that all came true. We then decided to play it in a local park to see who else we could reach out to. We played it on the basketball court and got nothing. Then moved to a picnic table, and that's when things got weird. We said our hellos, and so did whoever or whatever we were talking to. We asked them their name and got a Z, nothing else. Every time we would ask, it just went around the board and stopped in the middle. Then it spelled the word man. As we all were sitting there looking at each other confused, my whole body got very hot, so hot that my eyes were watering. I then look up and see a man running down the road beside the park. I told my cousins we need to tell it bye. I don't feel comfortable. We all said bye, and it would not tell us bye. It would only move in a circle. First rule about the Ouija board, you never close it up until it tells you bye. After about 3 attempts, it finally said bye, and we booked it out of the park. I haven't touched one since.
I am so unsettled. I thought you were about to say it was like Z and O again.
Yeah. No, but even still, I've heard some people say like if it just goes in a bunch of circles or
That's
like figure eights or something, it's like something's trying, like very powerful and like wants to come through the board.
Oh my God. And then the man. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, that's the scariest part of the story.
I want to know if it was like a man just jogging through the park or if a man was like jogging towards them.
I was thinking like Get Out style, like running straight towards them.
Yeah, that's my first image, but I don't know about that.
That's horrifying.
So I'd like to know that as well, that little detail. Was it that like it could just see around? It was like there's a man over there, and then suddenly a man appeared that they couldn't see before. So like even if it was one of them like messing with the board, they didn't know the man wasn't there before.
Yeah, I don't know. I really
Very
don't.
creepy.
Part of me, I would never play with a Ouija board. Part of me wants to experience it for myself just because sometimes I'll watch things or listen to things and I'm like, could someone have moved it? Like, could someone be playing around? I want to
Debunk it.
physically like feel it move and then be like, okay, it's real. Just kidding. Just kidding. You're good. Bye.
I mean, you could take your chances.
No,
but
will
I
not.
wouldn't.
I will go the rest of my life just curious.
I don't think I would ever attempt to actually reach out in that way.
Me neither.
Just because it might be an awesome experience. I truly believe that you can have a good experience there.
It's
I
too
don't know.
risky.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think I heard this in the Exorcist Files, which is another pretty good podcast if y'all are interested. I think it was the Exorcist, the priest said, when you reach into the darkness, you don't know what you're going to find. Anything can reach back.
Oh, that's really scary.
And so that freaks me out a little.
It's like you're on Tinder. You never
Okay.
know.
Anyway.
I've never used Tinder in my life, by
Yeah.
the way. Never. It's just what I imagine and what I've seen my friends go through.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God.
Tinder's
jump scare.
akin to a Ouija board. A bad Ouija board experience?
I think so. I think that would be a good comparison.
Okay. Let us know in the comments if you agree. Last story. This is my favorite experience I've had yet. So my mom passed away last year in July of 2023. I'm so sorry. Only 3 months after I had my third and last baby. She only got to spend 3 short months with him, and she loved him so much, as she did my other 2 kids. My baby and I stayed at the hospital with her during her last days because I didn't want to miss any minute with her. My baby was laying in his stroller when my mom took her last breath, and as I was sitting down beside him, trying to compose myself, I look over to my baby, who is looking up at the ceiling, smiling the biggest smile I've ever seen from him. I like to think it was my mom.
I think so.
I'm about to cry. Our Mimi told us a story like this, where
Yeah.
it wasn't another person, but it was her. I think it was her dad.
Mhm.
Before he passed, he would look up in the corners of the room and they're beautiful. Do you see the
Yeah.
angels or something like that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think.
yeah,
I don't have a lot of thoughts, but that is very beautiful, and I'm really
moving.
happy that you got to have that little moment.
Well, there's more.
Oh God.
One more bit. Fast forward to about 5 months later. I work from home and my other 2 kids are in school, so it's just me and my baby at home alone. I'm holding him as I'm working and he's facing me. Out of nowhere, he starts laughing. I think nothing of it, and then he starts burying his face in my chest and then bouncing up, looking over my shoulder, laughing as if he's playing peekaboo with someone behind me. This went on for a few minutes, and I was a little freaked out. After this, I had to go to the restroom, and when I walked into my bathroom, there was a strong, overwhelming smell of my mom's perfume. My baby is 19 months old now, and he will still randomly laugh and play with someone that isn't there. I think my mom got to know my baby after all, and is still with him. Sorry these were so long, and I have more, but I'll save those for another time.
I love it. Whew. I love it.
I'm getting teary. Our next one is from Unsigned, so anonymous. Hi, I have plenty of stories to share, and this is about a hat man. For context, I'm from Croatia. I live in a small village surrounded by a forest. When I was younger, things used to happen that were inexplicable to me, my sister, and our friends. My house is next to my grandparents' house, and when I used to go to my grandparents in the dark, I would see a man with long legs who had a hat on his head. He almost looked like a shadow. He was always standing under the lights right in front of my window. Every time I saw him, I was filled with fear. The second time I saw him, I ran back to my house, looked out the window, and he was still there. What's scariest is that my sister saw it too. Once I was coming home late from a party, it was about 2 o'clock. I was walking and I saw someone walking towards me. I had the feeling that this person was far away because it looked like a shadow. The closer I got, my intuition told me to start running, and it was clear to me that this was not a person. The shadow took a step and just disappeared. I ran into the house and couldn't stop crying out of fear. I love your podcast.
Oh God. Oh no.
Short, sweet, and very horrifying.
And yeah, I was gonna say horrifying. Not a fan of that.
Find it interesting to hear stories about the Hat Man awake, because a lot of the stories of the Hat Man, you're usually like in sleep paralysis or half asleep or even in dreams.
Yeah.
But to see the Hat Man awake is really creepy to me, I think. Our next story comes from Ollie. Hi, Natalie and Macy. You can call me Ollie. I found your podcast about a month ago, and it has very quickly become one of my favorites. I've always had a fascination with the paranormal or stranger things, but part of me has always been a little skeptical, despite the fact that I've actually had a couple of experiences myself. That being said, there is still one experience that I can't shake. I went ahead and changed the names in the story, so no need to worry. This was the first paranormal experience I ever had, and I'm honestly still not sure what to think about it. I was about 14 years old, and I was at my dad's place. It's worth noting my dad lived in my grandparents' basement with his wife and pets. His wife's kids and I would also both spend the weekends there. Needless to say, it was a very cramped space, so it didn't take much to know what each person was up to. My stepsister Claire's bed and mine were both cramped in a corner of the basement right next to a closet. This corner, in general, always gave me a weird feeling. Uneasy, almost like I was being watched. Claire also felt the exact same way, but the adults always told us that it was probably just the electrical stuff or something in the closet and not to worry about it. I can't say that really calmed either of our nerves, but I tried to move past it. Until one late night, when everyone else was asleep, I was the last awake, which wasn't uncommon because I had and still have issues falling asleep. I finally decided to go to sleep and got under the covers. I'm not entirely sure how long I was laying there, but if I had to guess, it was probably 10 to 20 minutes when suddenly I heard a quick, hushed whisper say my name right next to my head. Ollie. It sounded panicked, almost like a plea for help. I sat up the fastest I've probably ever had in my life and immediately looked over at Claire, but she was fast asleep. As I mentioned, the area in general was very small, so I was able to see my stepbrother sleeping on his bed across the room. I even got up to check and see if anyone else was awake, but everyone was asleep, even my grandparents upstairs. In the morning, I asked Claire if she called my name last night, and she said no. Both of us were obviously freaked out, but neither of us said anything about it after that, or anything about the closet again. No one in the house ever admitted to doing it, but not long after that, both our beds were moved to a different part of the room. I'm now 26, and after thinking about it for many years, I keep coming back to the thought that it was a mimic. The house was right in front of a heavily wooded area that, oddly enough, gave me the same uncomfortable feeling that the closet did. I can't help but think something was back there messing with me. Luckily, this hasn't happened again since I still get reoccurring nightmares of that forest and what might or might not live in it. Not the scariest story, but it's one I'll never forget. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. Ollie. P.S. I can't help but laugh when you guys bring up the ginger snappish tea with such disgust, because it's literally one of my favorites. I apologize I apologize again. To each their own, though.
Oh, I don't apologize. I will never apologize. That was dog water. But I'm so happy that you love it, and yes, to each their own. But just hearing the word ginger snappish is like, I get like a
shiver.
I get like a physical reaction. Shout out to Bigelow, though. We do love you.
We do love Bigelow tea.
Sponsor us.
You know what?
Please.
Everyone has their hits and misses.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Did you say sponsor us?
Yes. Because I'm like, I hate that tea, but we drink it all the time.
I drink Bigelow almost every day.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's creepy. No, they said it wasn't the scariest story. That was pretty scary. To be awoken with a panicked whisper of your own name in your ear.
Yeah. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like, sorry, it's not that scary. No, that's scary.
I would probably somehow lock the closet every night. I don't know why that came into my head. Like, I would need to
against the door.
Have the closet blocked off, locked, incapable of opening every single night.
Yeah.
Okay, this is our last story of the day. It's from Jordan. I found your podcast a few weeks back and love it. At the end of the episode I just recently watched, I heard I could send in a story, so I decided to write about this experience I had in high school. So first, I am a very scientific person. I am an engineer, and my mother is as well, so I was raised in a very science-forward family. I never really believed in ghosts. I would watch shows like Ghost Hunters and stuff because it was fun to see people think ghosts were real, but I never really believed in them. But as a teenager, I worked at a summer camp at a state park in Delaware. State park?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Delaware, and you were like, oh no, Delaware.
Yes, no, the park.
Okay.
I don't have any qualms with Delaware yet.
Okay.
Yet.
Count your days, Delaware. Many state parks or state-owned lands in Delaware used to belong to the DuPont family, a prominent family in the area from 1739 to 1817. So in this state park, there was a mansion where the family used to live when they owned the land. The program where I was a counselor never went into the mansion. We passed it many times, and I always felt weird when my back was to the mansion. I felt like I was being watched or sometimes followed. There were times before the main encounter when I experienced things I couldn't quite explain, but I could brush that off. There was a time when I saw a woman in white, like a wedding dress, standing in the top window of the mansion as we walked by, but I just thought it was an actual person since weddings are sometimes held at the park. I asked my boss about it to see if a wedding was happening that day, and she said there wasn't. But I still explained it away as someone checking out the mansion and park for their wedding. There was also another time when I was in the usual area where my program was held. I was sitting there waiting for the kids to finish lunch. They were eating outside in the garden since it wasn't too hot that day, and I heard some footsteps in another part of the building. So I went to see if a kid had come inside for something, but there was no one there. So I returned to reading my summer reading when I felt like someone walked past me. I got a bit uncomfortable then and went outside, thinking I needed air or I was getting in my own head. But the real story happened one day when we had nothing to do with the kids for a few hours. So my boss decided to have us tour the mansion. As soon as I stepped foot in the mansion, which had no air conditioning, I felt freezing. I asked my boss why it was so cold there, but she replied that it wasn't cold since it was the middle of summer, so it was hot in the building. I shook it off, thinking I was just going crazy, and walked the kids and my boss on tour. Then, we were standing in what used to be a parlor, and I put my back against the wall since it felt safer. Across the room, there was a mirror, and when I looked at it, I saw a face on the wall behind me. It was an older man, and he was smiling weirdly. He had a mustache, and his face looked a little bit dirty. I'm not sure, but he had dirty smudges on his cheeks. I quickly moved away from the wall to look, but there was no face on the wall. My boss saw how scared I seemed and told me to leave. So she walked me out of the mansion and I went to wait at our primary area. But as I walked away, I heard someone running up behind me. I turned to face the noise to see if someone was coming to get me because something happened to one of the kids, but no one was there. Then it felt like when you step outside on a hot, humid day, except it was cold, and this wall of air hit me. The next thing I knew, my boss was waking me up because I had passed out and was lying on the path near the mansion. I quit that job after that and didn't finish out the summer. Since then, I haven't been back to that park. I had never passed out before that day, and I haven't since, so I have no explanation for why I would have passed out like that. I always made sure to drink enough water so I wasn't dehydrated or anything like that. Something I couldn't explain away with science happened that day, and I will never go back there to let it repeat itself. So yeah, that's my ghost stories. Enjoy, and hopefully it won't scare you guys too much like it has scared me. Jordan.
I actually like that story a lot
It's
because
intriguing to me.
you're such a science person, which I love, by the way, because I always try to, think of the logical thing first.
Yay, science.
Yeah,
We love science.
we do. I believe in science. But I don't know. I like that it puts you in that headspace of what could it be?
What was that?
I
Yeah.
love when someone that's skeptical has an experience and is like, I don't have an explanation.
I wonder why Jordan, though.
I don't know. Maybe
Like,
because
it wasn't affecting anybody else.
maybe because they're skeptical and whatever entity was in there was like, I'll show you something
Mm.
in Delaware.
You know what my first thought was what if Jordan say past lives are a thing and Jordan has a connection there, like their soul has like some kind of connection to the DuPonts or the mansion or the park in some way.
Weird. I wasn't even thinking that.
I just found it weird.
That's interesting. I don't know, but I like that story. Thank you.
I do like that story. Thank you, Jordan, for sharing. And you know what? I don't blame you for not wanting to go back. Honestly,
wouldn't.
To have such a reaction that you pass out like that.
That is so scary.
That's wild.
At first, when you said I woke up, I was thinking the whole thing was a dream. Like, that's where I thought we were going. But then I was like, oh, whoa. You passed out. Whoa.
Much freakier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is all we have for you guys today. So please like this video if you liked it. Share it with your friends if you feel compelled to do so. And subscribe for more. If you're listening on audio, please leave us 5 stars. That would be greatly appreciated. And if you have a story that you'd like to send in to us, you can email us at ghostiespod@gmail.com. It's also written in the description wherever you're watching. You can follow us on Instagram or TikTok. Sometimes we post over there. It's at Ghostiespod. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to join in over there. It's patreon.com/ghosties. We have extra episodes. We just put out a vlog, which we are not vloggers, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah.
We have a lot of fun over there. And we do
We do.
lives. So come join the dark side.
I like that. Otherwise, we'll see you on Monday.
Goodbye.